elements of art. There are 7 of them. We took a quiz on them yesterday. Okay, so line, a long, narrow marker band. It does not have to be straight. And those straight lines can be vertical and diagonal. There's also dashed lines. I'm just going to go through this quickly. Dashed, zigzag, zigzag and lightning are like the same. Castle and step are very similar. Radial just means it's going around in a circle. There's curve, there's spiral, there's wavy lines, there's looped lines, there's bouncy lines. So there's lots of different types of lines, and you can use them in a lot of different ways in your artwork. But I did include these 2 examples, which are objects like a face and hands made out of just making lines thicker or thinner, okay, which I thought was kind of cool. And you can see like there's some spirally or curvy ones in the background. And I think it's kind of cool that you can make an entire portrait just with lines. Okay, so that is line. The next one is shape. So shape is just the shape of things. So a lot of times we think of geometric shapes first, which are going to be like the rectangle, square, circle, triangle, and hexagon, and things like that. A lot of those geometric shapes have corners and have sides. Okay, but geometric shapes are not the only kinds of shapes you can make. There's also freeform or organic shapes. They're called either one. So I might say freeform shapes. I might say organic shapes. They're the same thing. And those are going to be more of the ones that are kind of random. So a lot of times you'll find these in nature. So tree shape, leaf shape, cloud shape, raindrop shape, all of those types of things are organic or freeform. Okay, a lot of things on your body are also organic or freeform shapes. So like if you were to trace your hand or your foot or draw a body, those are also going to be more of your organic and freeform shapes and less of those geometric shapes. But again, I included a couple things on this slide to show you that yes, you can make art completely out of shapes and shapes only. Okay, so same with the lines that we looked at before. These are artworks made out of only lines and artworks made out of only shapes. Okay. The next one is going to be form. So form and shape are very similar. A lot of people on the quiz yesterday, you had a really great idea for form, but it's the wrong definition. So form can mean 2 things. Form can mean like forming something, which would be building something. So let's say you have clay. I might ask you to form a coil or something, okay? And that would mean that you are building it with your hand and you are forming it. In this context, though, in the elements of art, form means like a 3D shape. So you can see on the bottom, a circle turns into a sphere. Okay, so it goes 3D, and then it's goes all the way around, and it's not flat. A cube and a rectangle, or I'm sorry, a square and a rectangle turn into like cubes, and a triangle turns into like a prism is what that is called. Okay, and you can see that you can make form even on a flat piece of paper. So if you add shadows, if you add different types of lighting, and I will go over this when we're actually drawing these things, you can actually on a flat piece of paper make form that looks 3D, even if it's not 3D. So that's what form means in this context. We went from shape, which is flat, to form, which is 3D. Okay, that one I think is kind of a tricky one because it has 2 meanings. The next one is space, and a lot of you got this one correct. So I want to go over a couple things about art and space. So this first one is positive space versus negative space. When you draw something and you color it in, that is going to be your positive space. So if I were to draw like a dog and I were to color that dog in, whatever I'm coloring in and drawing is what I'm meaning the audience to look at. That's going to be my positive space. The negative space are going to be the things that are in the background or around it. So whatever is not being drawn by me in a purposeful way. So again, if I drew a dog, the dog would be the positive, but all of the background and stuff around the dog, that would be the negative space. So you can see here, they kind of show it with black and white. The positive space in the first one is the black vase, and the negative space are kind of the faces that it makes in the background. So that's kind of a cool way that you can create art, where you can create art with not even making something, but actually leaving something blank, which is kind of interesting. Okay. There are also different types of space overlapping as 2 things going on top of each other. You can create space by creating form, and that's by doing some shading and doing different lighting. Things can be close together. Things can be far apart. Things can be bigger. Things can be smaller. And on this bottom, I want you to pay attention to the trees. So this is kind of talking about that placement and that size. If it is going to be close to your audience, it is going to be bigger and it's going to look closer, right? If you make something smaller, it's going to look farther away. So these houses in the front are bigger, they look closer. The houses in the back are smaller, they look far away. The trees in the front are bigger, so they look closer, and the trees in the background are smaller, so they look further away. So that's how you can kind of trick your audience into seeing space, is by making things bigger, smaller, closer, and farther away. Okay, so that's space. The next one is texture, and most of us got this one too. Texture is how something feels, and you can depict how something feels by drawing it. So you can look at these pictures: smooth, rough, hard, soft, woven. Is that what it says? It's there we go. It was covered up by my Zoom. Woven, bumpy, lumpy, jagged or irregular, and you can see all of these cubes are drawn with a different texture. And this is how you can draw. Again, I was talking about that dog. This is how you can make things look like they're soft or that you can pet them, and it makes things look more realistic. So if you're trying to draw a dog and you don't draw any hair or fur on it and it doesn't look furry, then it's not going to look like a dog. Or if you're trying to draw a brick wall and you don't make it look rough or hard, then it's not going to look like a brick wall. It's just going to look like something that's plain. So texture is how something feels, and depending on how you draw it is how it is going to look like it feels. Okay, so like on these bottom cubes here, it kind of looks like it could be fuzzy or kind of furry on some of those. So that's texture, how something feels. Okay, the next one is value. Value is going to be how light something is or how dark something is. So you can see there's a gray scale on the bottom here. It goes from black all the way to this gray color. Oh, and there's an announcement at the school. Sorry, everybody. I love when this happens. It's just like being at school. There's a car up by the buses. But you can see you can start with black and you add a little bit of white and add white and add white and add white. It's going to go from dark all the way to light. And same with adding a color too. You could start with a really dark color, and the more you add white into it, the lighter it will get. And the more you add black to it, the darker it will get. And it will actually give you the look of space doing value as well. So something that's darker is going to be closer to you, and something that is lighter is going to be farther away because you can't see it as well. Lila, did you have a question?
It's not really a question, but also when you shade, it's lighter, and
absolutely. Exactly. So you can use value. A lot of these elements of art, fourth grade, are used together. So like, for example, this one at the bottom, the one that's value, exactly what Lila is saying. If you're shading, the darker parts are going to be at the bottom where you can't see as much light, and the lighter parts are going to be at the top where like the light source is coming in. And that is actually going to create space for you. So they kind of work together. So value is how dark or how light something is. Okay. And the last one is color. And this one to me is the easiest one because color is just color. It's what things look like. The one thing that I do want to point out are there are color pairs. So primary colors you've probably heard about a lot are red, blue, and yellow. Secondary colors are those colors mixed together. So red and orange make violet, and blue and yellow make green, and yellow and red make orange. And then there's kind of the in-between colors as well that are called your tertiary colors. And we'll talk about those a little bit later. And then you can make art using a bunch of colors, or you can make art using just a couple. So this one at the bottom is just primary, and the one at the top is using a ton of colors. And
yeah. I'm muted. Your microphone's off.
Oh, weird. I have no idea what just happened to everybody, but for some reason my internet went out and it turned off, and now we're back. But that worked out perfectly because we got through all 7. So I know I was talking very quickly, but I'm going to go back to sharing my screen with you so you can see what your actual project is going to be. So we wanted to get through all of those things. Your actual project is going to be picking a word, and you're going to write out that word. So this is my example. I wrote out the word art. Okay, it can be any word that you would like to choose. And you are going to incorporate all 7 elements of art in this picture. So I probably could have done a little bit more and decorated my background, but I did the examples. So you can see my value is going from dark pink to light pink, so dark to light. My form is making the letter into kind of a 3D letter. And then let's make sure everyone has their microphones muted right now. I can hear somebody. Perfect, thanks. Color is easy because color is going to be there when you color it. But if you want to use like only primary or only secondary, you could do something like that. Let's see, texture. I tried to add a little bit of texture in my paintbrush to show that it was kind of like that hairy material. And then I added spikes to my A to make the texture look pointy and spiky. Down here, I spelled space wrong, which is kind of funny, but space is here. I wrote shape instead, but it's space. And I have my paint can big, and then I have my paint can really small, and I have it being overlapped by one of those spikes. So I'm showing space by overlapping, and I'm also showing space by making them bigger all the way to smaller. Okay, I kind of added some texture on the pencil as well. Shape is here. I made, the little shapes of my clay and also my artist. Oh my gosh, I was going to say easel. What is that called? Paint palette. My goodness. And paint palette. So I'm adding all 7 of them in here. I'm going to show you a couple more examples. This one was done on Autodesk Sketchbook, the app, and you are welcome to do that if you would like. A lot of the other ones are done on paper, but you could do it on Autodesk Sketchbook if you'd like. And you can see shape, line, space. The donuts are spaced apart. Value is going from dark to light. Texture is showing the little sprinkles. Color is everywhere. And then it looks like this person, form is the donuts. There it is, form. So the actual showing the 3D of the donut. So these slides and these examples are in your Schoology folder it's an orange folder that says day 2, October 6th. And those are in there because I loaded them in yesterday. So if you want to go back and look through any of the slides that I showed you today, you are more than welcome to do that. Here are 2 more examples, and they are labeled. You don't have to label them right away. We're going to do some labeling at the end. But this is kind of what it will look like at the end. You'll have your picture and then you'll have the labels. But again, I'm going to quickly show you, exit out of here, on your Schoology. If you go into day 2, October 6th, it says elements of art presentation slides. And when you click on that, it says all of the slides. It has all of them in here, so you can go and review them. And then
Mine only says Zoom meeting video.
that should be for October 7th. So sorry, I'm reading them right now. So if you go into art and you go into the folder that says day 3, October 7th, all it has is Zoom. So after our meeting today, I am going to actually upload this video that we took today, and I'm going to put it into Zoom meeting video, and I will have it right here for you. It just takes a little bit to upload, so that if you want to go back and listen again, you are more than welcome to do that. But these slides should be in the orange folder that says day 2, October 6th. So you go in here, and then it says elements of art presentation slides, and they should be right in there. I know it's a little bit confusing because today is not October 6th, but I loaded these in yesterday. Okay, so today I am not asking you to turn anything in. I want you to start brainstorming what you might want your word to be, what you might want your project to look like, and all you have to do is with a pencil, or if you're using Autodesk Sketchbook, you can use your iPad, but I would just take a pencil and a piece of paper and start kind of writing things down, drawing things out. It doesn't have to be your final version. It could just be kind of a sketch to start thinking about what you want it to look like. And you do not need to put it into Schoology today. You don't need to put a picture or anything of it in. Tomorrow, when we meet again, we will have kind of a work day where we can ask questions, we can just hang out, we can work on our project, and then I will have you upload a progress photo at that point.